Hey YouTube, I thought I'd talk tonight a little bit about what's going on in the female mind, unpack a little bit on the being married part, and also on the part about dating a woman and why you wouldn't want to do that. In my vast knowledge of dating women and being married to 4 different women, and dating all kinds of women throughout the last 25 years, 30 years, I've noticed a lot that really what they want is not only to retire. When there's very few women, though most of them are the ones that are graduating from college, there's very few women that are actually going into college to find a field of work that they want to do for the next 60 years, till they're 65. Most of what they're doing is just going in, typically to find a man, to find the best place for a woman to find a man that can provide for them for the rest of their lives is going to be in a college. So they can find somebody that has a good diploma that's going to probably go on to make a lot of money, and if they get lucky, they can have sex with him and use him until they get out of college, because in many cases they don't want to wreck their college career, so they'll wait until you get out of college and then they have a baby immediately. And what they used to get the college degree, they don't actually use it once they get out because they have a baby. So then they start taking care of the babies. So they never actually use their diploma. And this is a typical thing that they do. Now, the other thing that you got going on there is, like I've said before, women really have nothing, absolutely nothing to offer a man outside of sex. The relationship is all me, me, me. Recently I seen a View segment where they were talking about a star who had, the wife said she had to keep him, it was her job as a wife to keep him in check and make sure that his head doesn't get too big. So what they feel their job is as a wife is to take your money, use it for their own selfish needs, and in the event that they find somebody that's better once they've gotten everything they can out of you, or once you've decided you don't want to give them any more, they go on to someone else but still use you. And the problem with the monkey branching from one man to another is that, especially if you've been married and they've tricked you into having a child, you'll actually have to take care of them still, because alimony and all these other things that are very unfair to men. The biggest problem that I have with most of what feminism says is that it's always a double standard. If it happens to a woman, it's a problem. If it happens to a man, it's life. And they never seem to, recently I seen some star that had, I think it was Ludacris. He had his wife had just had a baby, or his girlfriend or something, and he kicked her out. I don't know why, but when he kicked her out, he kept the kid. He was able to keep the kid, and that was unbelievable for everybody. Everybody couldn't believe that he was allowed to keep the kid. Now, on The View, the thing that happened was they said, that it's a woman's duty, that it's her job to keep a man in his place, and that statement right there should be enough to show feminists that that they're saying that their job is to control a man, You know, they're always talking about how they're objectified and it's a problem for them, but it's not a problem for men. If you want to objectify a man, if you want to take everything that they own, everything they are, and destroy it, and that's basically their sole goal. They want to destroy you. They want to destroy your life. They want to make sure you know who's in control, and that's them, you know. And the problem is they're not in control. And they always say stupid stuff like, the problem is the majority of women can't do things that men do, but they all try to say they can, you know. Like in my case, I did martial arts since I was 10 years old. I was an instructor until I was 25. But Ronda Rousey could probably kick my ass, you know. On the spectrum, she's rare, you know. It's not that women can't beat up men. It's that very few women can beat up men. So when you hear these women talking about, I can do anything that a man can do. So when I was in high school as a man, I was able to bench press 315 pounds while I was in football. Can you do that? Can any woman do that? No. You know, can you run on the football field from the 100-yard line, from field goal to field goal, at the same time an NFL player could? Probably not. In full pads and gear? Probably not. You know, the fact is, men, just the male species in general, for 100,000 years, has been engineered, they've evolved to be a hunter, to take care of women. And the problem is women use that to their advantage. And the more they've become pampered to, the easier it is for them to use a man, to take your wealth, to use you. I recently was discussing, a few videos back, I think maybe like 10 videos back, I was discussing a movie that came out in 2012 called, I don't know, something like Rinsing Men, you know. And it was about British women who like to take men's money and don't give them anything for it, which is basically, you know, a marriage after about 3 or 4 years. You know, basically she's taking your wealth, taking your money, and you very rarely get sex. If you're lucky, you might get sex once a month, and that's if you're really lucky. You know, I was married for 7 years, and by the time I was 4 years into it, I was lucky if I had sex once every 3.5 to 6 months. So that's basically what they want. They want you to give them everything. They want you to work. They want you to give them all your money, and basically they want all of your wealth, all of your life, everything in your life, everything that you have, everything that you might be, and all they're going to give you is sex when they decide to, when they feel like it. And that's all you get. That's the problem. That's the problem that a lot of women don't seem to want to understand. That's all you get from a woman. You don't get anything from a woman. You might get children, but if you do anything, if you don't walk on eggshells your entire relationship, you could lose those too. Because she could easily go to court, take your kids, still make you pay child support, never let you see them, like my ex-wife. You know, like I had said in one of my other videos, my son has just turned 16. I haven't seen him in 6 years. It's been over 6 years, about 6 years and 3 months. And when I left, he was about 9. He's 16, and I haven't seen him. And my wife did a divorce settlement where I was only able to see them once a month because she lied and said that I abused them. You know, and this is the problem in courts. In courts, they take women seriously, and they don't take men seriously. It's a double standard. If a woman was abusive to a man and the children, doesn't matter. She still gets the kids because she's the wife. She's the mother. She's got to get the kids, right? You know, and this is This is our double standard that we have, and feminists, they keep pushing and pushing, and they never want to accept that they've already got everything they want. I mean, sure, there's some things that need to change, but the thing is most of them talk about other countries, and they talk about stupid things that are double standards that they don't want to unpack. And if you point out their double standard, all they say is patriarchy. It's kind of like talking to a religious person, where once you get down to the brass tacks, they shout faith, which isn't, that's not a argument. That's not the end of the argument, because somebody says, well, I have faith. That doesn't mean anything. You still didn't prove your point, If you make a point, like with religion, if you make a point, then it's your job it's not my job to prove you wrong, If I say there's a teapot on the backside of the moon and God lives in it, well, I have to prove that. I can't, that's not up to you to prove. If I made that claim, then I've got the burden of proof. But religious people and feminists want to throw out these straw man claims and these little studies, these little case studies that they have, where they have a section of maybe 1,000 feminist women, and they take surveys from mangina men, and they use it and say, oh, well, this proves my point, when it doesn't, and almost everything they do and say, almost everything, you can find all of their facts, or everything they use is kind of like WikiLink, it's all crap. They have no basis, nothing to back up anything they're saying. And anytime you try to call them out on it, the first thing they try to do, like they do it on my site all the time, they slander you. They just try to slander your character, and they stop talking about the points and the facts, because it's very easy when they say something stupid, because that's all they say is something stupid. So it's very easy when they say something stupid to easily just say, well, this is the truth, this blah blah blah, and they'll put out something else, and then you'll just say, yeah, and this too, this disproves what you just said there. And then after that, they just start saying, well, you're this and you're that and blah blah blah, and they think that proves their point, and it doesn't, So they have the easiest way to tell if a feminist has a real point is if she doesn't get upset and she doesn't start yelling over the top of you. Anytime a feminist yells over the top of you and all she has to say is patriarchy, it's a logical fallacy. She's bringing up a point that has no point, She's throwing out case studies and non-facts that have no basis in reality, and it's very easy to shoot down every argument a feminist will bring up. I've met very few feminists yet that have any argument that can't be disproven, because the only thing they have to point on real, true facts is out of the United States. They'll say, well, we have to help women, and women are downtrodden, and women this and women that. And you say, where? Where's this? Where? Where in America is that? Oh, it's not in America, it's in Africa. Well, why don't you let the African people deal with that? Why don't you worry about what's going on in America? Because in America, in England, in Switzerland, in Sweden, these countries have problems because of feminism, and it's because feminism has taken over men, and men are having their lives wrecked because of feminism. And they talk about equality. So if you want equality, you should be fighting for men's rights and getting it to be equal, because right now it's not equal. It's the balance of power has shifted about 30 years ago to women. And there's no balance, and the suicide rates are towards men, deaths are towards men, rape, it's higher in men, because it's just a known fact that if you go to jail, and most of the people that go to jail are men, you're going to be raped. So there's a rape culture women always talk about, which is complete horse shit. There's no such thing. There's no rape culture. You don't need to teach men to not rape. You need to teach women what the fuck rape is, because sticking your cock in a woman's ass or her pussy is rape. Alright? Saying, hey beautiful, you got a nice ass, is not rape. But that's what they've come down to now. You have this PC culture thing going on where they just want to say everything is rape now, and it's not. Penetration is rape, okay? You know, if you stick your fingers in a woman's pussy and she doesn't want it, that's rape. You know, if you stick your cock in a woman's pussy and she didn't want it and she said no, that's rape. But it's not rape if you have sex with a man and then a month later he doesn't call you back and he doesn't want anything to do with you, and he tells you were a bad lay and he doesn't want anything to do with you, and then you cry rape. That's not rape. Yeah, alright? That's not rape. But that's what a lot of these cases are. I see so many studies where they point out, like, this many men have done this, and blah, 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 and this many women have been, you know, like I just seen on the think tank or the Young Turks today, they were talking about 100% of women said that they were sexually harassed on public transit in the United States. You know, well, the problem is anytime, especially now with the feminist culture, anything a man does to a woman is harassment. If you even look at a woman, you're harassing her, and that's the culture we have now. You know, and it's a double standard. You know, you can't even engage a woman in any way. Anything you say, anything you do, if you want anything to do with a woman, you are a misogynist. You know, you're just trying to use them. You know, but it's all right if you have these women like in the fleecing movie. You know, where the women use the men to get what they want, like Louis Vuitton bags and, you know, new shoes and better house and better life and kids, and then she divorces him and still takes his money after she leaves him. That's fine. But if a man does that to a woman, well, we can't have that. That's misogyny. That's patriarchy. You know, and it's a double standard, and they don't want to discuss this. You know, so it's very easy to point out every time they throw out a fact that's not a fact. It's a logical fallacy. It's a straw man argument. You know, it's an appeal to you know, your heartstrings, basically. It's an appeal to emotion. Every time they throw something out like that, it's very easy to show how what they're saying is bullshit. Always has been, always will be. You know, and it's very easy to, every time they bring up something that's wrong in women, you can bring up something that's twice as wrong, that's the same thing that's happening to men. You know, so, you know, like in every state in the United States, there's hundreds upon hundreds of women's shelters. There's all kinds of things where women can take their children and leave a home and leave an abusive relationship. But if you have a woman who is abusive to you, and she's abusive to your kids, she's just abusive in general, she's stealing your wealth, stealing your money, and not allowing you to basically even have a life. When you get off work, you can't go anywhere, you have to come straight home. There's many, many, many thousands and millions of wives in America like this, where you can't have a life unless she says you can have a life. When you have a wife like that, that's abuse. That is abuse. So if you have a wife like that and you tried to take your children and go to a shelter and be able to leave her, that you'd have a hard time even finding a men's shelter for battery, for abuse. You'd be laughed at. You know, that's a double standard. You know, if you want equality, if women want equality, then make it fucking equal, because right now it's not equal. So, I've been Shi-Nu. Thanks for watching. Share, like, comment, and subscribe. Got any questions or suggestions for videos? Leave them in the comment section below.